Good morning, everybody. This is Mark Smith with Family Tree Brand Life Coaches. It's a sunny Sunday morning in South Carolina. My Cowboys are coming on in 32 minutes, so this isn't going to be a super long video. But I do have a killer video for you today. The title of it is A Narcissist Who by Nature Wears Two Faces, Bewilders Even Himself. So, this video is based on just a killer quote. I saw this quote. You know how inspiration works? Sometimes it gently taps you on the shoulder, and you gotta pay attention to it ever so intently. And then other times, inspiration reaches over and grabs you by the shirt and flings you around the room and yells at you and says, "This is what I'm saying. Start making a video." That's what happened to me last night. Let me explain how I was inspired, but I'll start with the quote and then I'll tell you how I came by it. The quote is a longer version of the title because I can't make the title 3 sentences or 3 lines long. This quote is by the great American novelist Nathaniel Hawthorne. And my sister Elizabeth would be thrilled with this because she named her son, my nephew, Nathan, after Nathaniel Hawthorne. No man, for any considerable period, can wear one face to himself and another to the multitude without finally getting bewildered as to which may be true. Bang! No man, for any considerable period, can wear one face to himself and another to the multitude without finally getting bewildered as to which may be true. Nathaniel Hawthorne was an American novelist, a dark romantic, and he was known for his short stories as well as his great novels. He was born in 1804 in Salem, Massachusetts. His ancestor includes John Hawthorne, the only judge involved in the Salem witch trials, who never repented of his actions. Isn't that interesting? He entered Bowdoin College and he graduated in 1825. He wrote The Scarlet Letter and The House with Seven Gables, as well as other great novels. So, you see in the back my poster of The Sopranos. The heavy guy in front, played by James Gandolfini, how do you say his name? Gandolfini, who passed away of a heart attack. Just was, I would say, the second most awesome representation of a malignant narcissist in the history of television, maybe third. So I got to go with Heisenberg of Breaking Bad, which is why I got my pork pie hat on. It's an homage to Heisenberg. I'm a big Heisenberg fan. Just because the transformation from codependent to malignant narcissist was pretty interesting stuff. And then the other one, of course, is Kevin Spacey playing the President of the United States in A House of Cards. And as my last video indicated, Kevin Spacey may himself actually didn't need to do much acting because perhaps he's a malignant narcissist himself. So you got to give it up for the pork pie. I'm going gangsta. just when I thought I was out, they kept pulling me back in. Anyway, so here's what happened is I got tired of Sprint overcharging me, and I got a thing in the mail saying if I switched over to AT&T, I'd get $25 off my AT&T bill forever, and I get HBO for life, and they pay for my phones. And so I switched. So I've got HBO, and my wife is in Alabama with her sister, and I was home, and I'd run out of watching Breaking Bad since I've watched it so many times, and I hadn't watched Sopranos in years, so I started watching The Sopranos from season 1, and season 1, the first episode, started with Tony Soprano in a therapy session with Dr. Amalfi. Isn't that awesome? That was just like so powerful. A narcissist mind fucking a therapist in a therapy session. You know why? Because no man for any considerable period can wear one face to himself and another to the multitude without finally getting bewildered as to which may be true. He was going to therapy to get better, to be a good guy, to quit having panic attacks, because the character Tony Soprano had complex PTSD and was having panic attacks and actually fainting and falling to the floor when he was having anxiety attacks. So, but an interesting character, the character that Bryan Cranston played in Breaking Bad, I think had some good in him and some beloved qualities. And even Tony Soprano, I think, had some endearing qualities, but Kevin Spacey's character, he didn't have any redeeming qualities in my opinion. So I'm watching the first season. It's like the 6th episode. It was called College, where Tony takes his daughter Meadow on a 3 college trip throughout New England. And they end up in Bowdoin College, whose greatest alumni is none other than Nathaniel Hawthorne, who went there in the early 1800s. So during this trip, Tony was driving Meadow, who was going to be a freshman, and Meadow comes out and says, "Dad, are you in the mafia?" And after lying for a while, he told her the truth. And then she told him about some drug use, and they were bonding. But then at a gas station, Tony spots a rat, a guy who had ratted out his friends, who had sent a lot of his mafia friends to jail. And the whole show was him sneaking away from Meadow, lying, so that he could go get some battery cable wire and choke the guy out and kill him, which he did. So it was a picture of him taking his mask off to his daughter, building some trust with his daughter, and then putting the mask back on and then conning her and lying. And she goes, "Dad, you wouldn't lie to me now, would you?" He goes, "You're going to hurt my feelings that you would think I would lie to you." And he was lying every word out of his mouth because he couldn't say, "Yeah, I had to go kill a guy. I just got done choking a man to death," even though she saw his bloody hands. So in the scene, he drops his daughter Meadow off at Bowdoin College. I hope I'm saying that right. And he says, "Well, I've left my watch back at the hotel." and he really goes to this rat's place of business, and he chokes him out and kills him. So then he picks Meadow up and brings her to the next college, which is this Bowdoin College. And somebody from the college comes and collects Meadow and says, "Hey, let's talk about your future." And then Tony looks up, and there's this big granite sign that says, "No man for any considerable period can wear one face to himself and another to the multitude without getting bewildered as to which may be true." So, and then a guy comes by as Tony's staring at the sign and says, "He's our greatest alum, Nathaniel Hawthorne." But here's the thing. It answered a question for me, and it may answer a question for some of you. I had often wondered why my former fiance told me all the things that she told me. Because, so here were my theories that, one, she wanted to hold on to her gig of me taking care of her financially. But if that's what she wanted, she shouldn't have told me, 80% of the nasty, disgusting truth. She should have told me 10%. If she'd have told me 10% and wanted to keep her gig, I'd probably still be with her. The second theory was the only thing that made sense was that she secretly just wanted to destroy me and torture me and mind fuck me. So she stayed for 8 days and told me all these things just to destroy me, and enjoyed it. And I know I'm going to get about 50 comments saying that's what it was. She was just going to try to destroy you. But don't do that. I don't want any of those comments. You know why? Because you weren't there, and you don't know her, and you don't really know what happened. I really don't think that's what it was, because there wasn't any sense of vindictiveness. And yeah, she tortured me, but I'm a pretty tough guy. I wear a pork pie hat, and she done fucked with the wrong fella, and there were consequences. So she walked away with nothing, and she walked away with a great deal of humiliation and with a psychological bruise on her, all over her, So her telling me all that stuff, it hurt her just as much as it hurt me. She might have tortured me, but she ended up getting lit on fire herself. So there really wasn't a lot of upside. She not only lost everything she had that I was giving her, she lost a lot of her own stuff because I couldn't give it to her because I was no contact, so I just threw it all away. So I don't think that was it. You know what it was? It was she was bewildered as to who she was. Here's the truth I want you all to grab onto, and that is narcissists, when they have one face to themselves and one face to the multitude, sometimes they get bewildered as to which one is true. They con even themselves. This woman thought she genuinely was in a recovery process. She was trying to tell herself that she loved me, that she wanted to be there, that she was a Carmel housewife, that she had good in her. And then she went off to the horrible malpracticing bridge to recovery, bridge to denial. I got to give it up to them, though. What they did was they helped her get in touch with her real self. And her real self wasn't an in recovery, good person, Carmel housewife who loved me and wanted to be there. This is a little edgy, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but it's sort of the truth, but it has a little edge on it. I got a pork pie hat on. I've got to be a little bit edgy, but they helped her to see who she really was, and who she really was, pardon my language, she was poor white trash, Arkansas hillbilly, sex addict, narcissist, who did not love me, who resented the hell out of me, who did not want to be there, who felt controlled by money, who just wanted to have the image that she could compete with her brothers and be successful, have the image of being a good person, but she really just wanted to keep on screwing her fellow sociopath sex addict, and she didn't give a shit about me. So they helped her get in touch with her inner narcissist. And then they put, their thumbs up to, good for you, you're being true to yourself, you narcissist, sex addict, way to be true to yourself. That's fucked up. So, again, please don't send me a bunch of comments saying she just wanted to torture me. She probably did take some enjoyment in torturing me, but that ain't why she did it. And I just wanted to make this video to say, I know that there's thousands of you out there who the cognitive dissonance that comes from why did they do what they did, and how could they act one way and then turn around and act the opposite way when they really seem to believe and sell their other face. You know why? Because they believed that their true self was the other face. And that's what was powerful about this scene in this Sopranos episode. Tony looked up and he said, fuck. I've been trying to have this good dad face, this I'm on a college trip with my daughter and we're connecting face, when I am a brutal, ruthless, murdering mafia don who has no conscience. And he saw that and it cut him to the heart. So if we're going to rank evil narcissists, we got to put Hitler number 1 and maybe Hannibal Lecter number 2. And then, I don't know, higher on the list is Kevin Spacey's president in House of Cards. And then Breaking Bad, Walter White, Heisenberg. And then we'll put Tony after all those guys. He's still a bad dude. He was still a murderer. He was still a cheater. He was still a narcissist. But he had a little bit of insight. And if you'll look at the series of Sopranos, he actually made some good use of therapy. There was some transference countertransference where Dr. Malfi sort of had a sexual crush on him, and he with her. But the funny thing was, she was saying, let the old people think they're in control. So he used therapy to come up with a strategy of handling his uncle. And so really Dr. Malfi was his consigliere, the person that he drew the most insight and counsel from, ironically. So be careful, therapist, if you have a narcissistic client, because you may be giving them insight into how to fuck people over and harm them. If you have a narcissistic client, recognize them as such and drop them and refuse to work with them, because all they're going to do is use therapy to hurt others, and they may turn around and try to hurt you. So just a killer concept that I wanted to read that quote one more time. No man for any considerable period. If you act like a fake person long enough, you may just start believing your act. No man for any considerable period can wear one face to himself and another to the multitude without finally getting bewildered as to which may be true. So that's the beautiful thing about recovery, is we're eliminating any other faces, and you just got the one face. You have your genuine, authentic, beautiful self. And you're able to start recognizing people who are liars and cheaters and narcissists and evil, succubuses, people who draw people. Well, I'm going to go watch the Cowboys whoop the Giants. I hope you got what I was saying today. There's a life-changing gem in there. For some of you who have suffered cognitive dissonance and you wondered how the person could lie so much, it's because they fooled themselves. Join our YouTube channel, buy my books. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.